Crawford Report with our web series, Three Guys, One Mic. Nick Damiani, Paul Lamb, myself, Neil Doyle. We're going to get into a Big 12 conference preview before the 2015-16 college basketball season kicks off. Big 12, one of those conferences the last 4 or 5 years have had some really good teams, always teams ranked within the top 10. This year they have 4 teams in the preseason top 25, and 3 of those are all ranked in the top 10 in the preseason. So Big 12 expected to have a really good season, some good teams, and we're going to get into it here. So let's get into who we think is going to be the conference winner this year in the Big 12. Paul, you want to get us started?
Yeah, I think it's going to be Kansas for the 12th straight time. They bring back their top 3 scorers, Wayne Selden, Frank Mason, Perry Ellis, who gets the Draymond Green Award for having been there for like 12 years at this point. But yeah, that alone, plus they bring in Carlton Bragg, a very talented freshman, and then if they can get Cheek Diallo, who's still not cleared by the NCAA, he's a top 10 talent, big man. Once he gets cleared, if he gets cleared, that's going to push them head and shoulders above the rest of the competition. Yeah, I got Kansas once again.
Yeah, I'm going to have the Kansas run end this year. I'm going to go with Iowa State. They did just lose Hoiberg, so they're kind of in a coaching switch right now. But I think Georges Niang and Monty Morris are a really good 1-2 combo out there. And they have a lot of experience, too. Last year, they went out in the first round of the NCAA tournament, so they're going to come back hungrier than ever this year. So with the threat in the paint and around the perimeter like that, they're definitely going to be tough to beat, and I think they can get over the hump of Kansas this year.
I'm going to go with Paul. I think Kansas is the Big 12 champ again. There's just so much depth on this team. And as Paul said, if Diallo, as long as he gets cleared, he's one of the top players, one of the top freshmen in the country. But it's just they have so much top to bottom for point guard to center. Bill Self is too good of a coach to have this much talent on a team and not do stuff with it. So I think not head and shoulders above in the Big 12, but they're going to be a tough team to beat, especially at home. So my pick is Kansas to win the Big 12 conference. So next category to get into, a dark horse team who we think could have a good season that's not expected to. Nick, start us off with this one.
I wouldn't say they're supposed to have a bad season, but I got the Oklahoma Sooners solely because they have Buddy Hield. Basically, Buddy Hield's one of the best players in the country. And, whenever you got a playmaker like him, your team has a chance to win every night. He doesn't have a super good surrounding cast, but he's got solid players around him, like a guy like Isaiah Cousins, one of their second leading scorer last year, I want to say. If he steps up, I think they could be a really scary team to take some pressure off of Buddy Hield. But just the fact that they have Hield alone is enough to give them a chance each night. So I think they can make a little run late.
I really like Texas just because they got Shaka Smart especially. I think he's going to have that team back into the conversation in the Big 12. Got 3 top 50 recruits this year. I think he's going to bring a lot of attention back to basketball in Texas. Texas, obviously, a football state, but they've still got a deep basketball history. Look at the Spurs, the Mavericks. Kevin Durant played at Texas. I think that's going to come back, that attitude, that culture is going to come back to Texas. I think it starts this year with Shaka.
Paul and I are on the Big 12 trend. I'm going with Texas also. I think Shaka Smart is going to bring a lot to this Texas basketball program that's kind of been lacking the last few years. And as Paul just mentioned, I think the 3 recruits they brought in fit perfectly into a Shaka Smart kind of system. They're bringing back 6 guys from this team who aren't bad, and I think they fit in well to what Shaka tries to do. They've got a few bigger guys, and, Shaka is into his, havoc defense to where he plays kind of a smaller lineup. But I think they're going to buy into the system. I think it takes maybe the beginning of the season a little bit of a chemistry issue problem where it's going to take a little bit to get into. But I think these 3 freshmen, it could be really have huge freshman seasons for them because they fit so well into what Shaka wants to do. So watch out for Texas this year. They should be fun to watch in the Big 12. And then our last category, Player of the Year. Who are we thinking has the best year in the Big 12 conference?
Like I said, I was talking about earlier, Buddy Hield. I think he's the best player in the conference, one of the best players in the country. He's just such a dynamic scorer. I think he runs away with this one.
I like Georges Niang. I think he's the most all-around player in the country. He was one of the best players in the country last year. I think even after losing Hoiberg, he's still going to get, his assists, his rebounds, and his points, which is really rare in college basketball. I talked about Draymond Green earlier, but he's kind of like Draymond Green too, where he's going to do everything for your team, kind of be that glue to bring that team together. I think he wins Player of the Year.
I'm with Nick. I'm going Buddy Hield. One player of the year last year. No reason he shouldn't do it again. His ability to score all over the court is just ridiculous. And then the experience he brings, led that team to a Sweet 16 last year. There's no reason this team shouldn't be able to get back to a Sweet 16 again because of his leadership. So he'll be fun to watch. I think he's going to win it again this year. So that's our Big 12 conference preview. Should be a fun one to watch again in the Big 12. Always fun to watch the Big 12. But that's going to do it for us. Nick Damiani, Paul Land, myself, Neil Doyle. Thanks for listening. Crossover Report, 3 guys, 1 mic. We'll see you next time.
Coming at you from the Shy 708. We got 6 rings, Michael Jordan, great. Need to save the date, this a brand new debate. Talk teams that we love and talk teams that we hate.